Hi. The dilettante Scandinavian boomer back again with some stupid philosophical reflections, that nobody finds anyway. So why this effort? Well, first, to pull my weight and relieve my conscience, and second, to add one more stick to the red pill ant pile of the monosphere. So hang on, and excuse my English. Humanity seems today to move into something I would like to describe as a drone sex culture, leaving the old good monogamy, that served us quite well for 3,000 years or so, behind. But, of course, there are some important differences compared to the bees and ants. Humans are, after all, not hymenopterous, but there are similarities. In a hive there are just a few queens and the drones are also few in numbers. The worker ants, albeit female, are the majority of the individuals in the hive or formicary. Our society seems heading into something similar. First, all women are queens. Second, queens are wooed by drones, players, relatively few in numbers. Third, the rest are worker bees or worker ants, betas, making the hive or the formicary society go round. Polyandry without commitment will force a majority of women to market and sell their product, sex, mainly in form of nude and or masturbation displays to the invisible 80 to 95% of beta males, while the real box only will be given for free to the drones. This culture will show unsustainable for obvious demographic reasons. From a biological viewpoint, this seems to be something new for humans, but maybe I haven't found the exceptions yet. In essence it is a polygyny where the top males share all the females although not exclusively. At the same time it is a polyandry in that sense that all females share the top 5% of the males, the drones. The reason for this shift is found on a very deep level. The evolution likes to experiment through an innate property to make random variations. But the evolution is just a principle or law, just like the law of gravity, and it does not care the least if it leads to success or if a whole population goes extinct. Like for instance the Rocky Mountain locusts, that in spite of being trillions of individuals all died out within a few decades. Despite the fact that monogamy has proven by far the best formula to propagate and copy great numbers of superior genes, still the evolution's main principle is to experiment by making changes just in case it would lead to something even more effective in spreading genes, thereby increasing chances to survival and further propagation. The evolutionary experiment, ongoing right now, I would consider very perilous, and it's hard to imagine that a stable drone culture can be established. The reason is of course the numbers of low-sex beta males and the rising staggering number of completely sexless males. It might seem to work for a while, a generation or two, but then the accumulation of reluctant worker males, 90 to 95%, will ultimately lead to a societal collapse. I find it difficult to figure out what will be the outcome, but I'm afraid no democratic system could survive this challenge. As ever more men are going sexless, they will try to find out why. The red pill is now ubiquitous on the internet and soon all men will know of it and many will embrace it and leave the blue-pilled fruitless dreamscape. Men in general will then not accept that the woman first can ride the CC in their prime and then expect a beta provider in their decline. A rising number of men will righteously demand virginity to engage in any relationship at all. The consequences of the 60s, the pill, the sexual revolution and the rise of feminism has led to a division of men. Gullible men didn't realize what was happening and some even thought it would mean more sex for all. This showed right away to be a vain wish. The relatively even distribution of sex rapidly tilted into favoring a few percent of men, the thugs and players. Feminism has since ruled through this splitting of men. While living in a comfortable society, built by men by sweat and tears, they could thus both eat the cake and still have it. And sorrily most men have still not realized what happened, only slowly are they waking up. I think it is necessary to target men to get anywhere in the sex culture war. Remark, it is not a gender war, there are men and women on both sides. It may be okay to point out the absurdities and bad morals of modern woman as is frequent done in the monosphere, but, as the German philosopher Schopenhauer pointed out, moral is not a female thing. We have to appeal to the males and their qualities, moral, justice, honor and pride. We must unite men, and get rid of the division caused by feminism. I will discuss this topic in a later video, in order to limit this one. Humans are not bonobos, where all males, or most of them, get reasonable access to the females. The bonobo males cooperate, and fatherhood is shared and there are no DNA tests. It is a promiscuous sex culture without hypergamy, and therefore working. The sharing of sex promotes stability. This kind of sex culture was probably common among humans before monogamy gradually started. Read for example the book, Sex at Dawn. In the evolutionary process of humans, the natural and sexual selection has led to quite different results compared to, for example, the bonobos. The increasing size of our brain and big skull is thought to be a kind of Fisher's runaway, that is to say a result of sexual selection. Anyhow, it entailed the necessity for the females to seek out help from the males when vulnerable in gestation, birthing and early child caring. This, with high probability, started a process where the females sought help from the best providers. Thus started a situation where the females competed for the best males, also known as hypergamy. The males soon made their conditions clear: loyalty in order not to risk providing for another male's offspring. A process towards monogamy, albeit slow, was thus initiated by the females. Today's popular notion, that monogamy was enforced by the men to distribute sex evenly, thereby oppressing the females, is false. But in the toe of strict monogamy, sexual justice was just a consequence. Another consequence is that the monogamic system made it possible to build cultural societies. To understand how it works in practice you have to read psychologists like Freud and Jung, but it's mainly through canalizing dammed up sexual energy that we shaped and built our cultural society. Much later some political powers got aware of the importance of monogamy and its political consequences, and made efforts to enforce it, by law or otherwise. But this happened only some 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, after the agricultural revolution already started. While monogamy was a slow process that started hundreds of thousands years ago, this latter form of political enforced monogamy is believed to have started in the Mediterranean area, first Greece then spreading to the Levant, later to the Romans and continued and maintained in Europe by Christianity. This just and moral state of sex culture, that worked so well for 3,000 to 4,000 of years and enabled us to build great civilizations, are now, within a few decades, ruined by feminism on the altar of hedonism. The rise of feminism is not unique and can be seen as just a catalyst. All cultural civilizations have undergone a progression of similar phases, starting with strict monogamy and ending with hedonism and gynocracy before the collapse. In a further video I will discuss the pros and cons of promiscuity as well as of monogamy. In our modern cultural society there are, though, not as many pros left for promiscuity as the feminist may argue, but that will also be for another video. When I get the time I'll make a video about the myth of mutual consent and the female horror of losing their right to sexual agency. This was once safeguarded by a lot of laws, rules, and expectations involving family, church and society as a whole. Today they are at their own, in a world of hedonism, promiscuity, and abortions. Even Mr. Biden, in his Philly speech attacking MAGA, said women should have the right to fornicate with whom they want. Well, he actually diplomatically used the word, marry. The result is a disaster. It's senseless to let a 18, or even 16-year-old girl use their full sexual pulling force to let the thugs and jerks defile them and render them unmarriageable. Please note that the monosphere, in general, is pure philogenistic, it wishes all women well. The feminists and their woke columnists are not only misandric, they are also misogynistic, making life a misery for woman. Let me end with a few warband statements. Morals, ethics, values, principles, and control your biology, according to Hammerhand. No hymen, no diamond, according to Undead Chronic. GTN, give them nothing, according to Lion of MGTOW. Till next time. Bye.